Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo, and welcome to issue number 4 of The Division Weekly. Been doing the show for exactly a month now. That's 4 episodes, 1 month worth of The Division Weekly. We've seen the hype leading up to the launch of the beta. We've seen the beta itself, and now we are making our way towards the official launch of The Division come March 8th. I want to thank you guys all for joining me on this ride. Definitely a series that launched a lot later than a lot of other people's news coverage of The Division, but nonetheless a series that has done really well on the channel and is continuing to grow every single day. If you could do me a favor, go ahead and share this wherever you can. Spread the word to other Division fans out there. But let's go ahead and just get right into the show. We've got a very feature-packed show. A lot of awesome stuff was revealed to us this week, not just directly from Ubisoft, but also from the community. The community creating a lot of awesome things, including a skill tree builder, which we'll get to later on in the show. We're actually going to take a look at it in depth and mess around with some, character builds and take a look at some of the skills and talents that are going to be available when the Division goes live. Your game has officially been cemented as a proper RPG when the community makes a skill tree builder. So hopefully the team at Massive and Red Storm, everybody behind the Division, are very proud to see something like that happening. They have definitely secured the title of RPG for the Division. Let's start off the show, as we always do, with the fan art focus for this week. We've got a wonderful, once again, environmental-focused piece of art from, I hope I'm saying this right, Miria Kritak FDZ. We're just going to call this person Kritak from now on. There's barely any information on their art station profile. I don't know if it's a he or she. All I do know is that they have some amazing art outside of the one that we're taking a look at today. So please head on over to their art station. It'll be linked down in the description below. Give this Division fan art some love and perhaps some of their other art some love as well. So this is indeed a concept style piece of fan art. We've got the Brooklyn Bridge way in the background. Again, a big emphasis on those weather effects. This is something that is very important to the Division in terms of atmosphere, and something that a lot of these artists have made sure to capture in their artwork. I think just about every single piece of art we've looked at has captured the weather effects in some way. This one goes as far as to blur everything a little bit. It's almost as if we are caught in a snowstorm, a bit of a flurry pushing up across the water here into the side of the buildings and the streets, where it seems that our foreground character, possibly a member of the Division, is struggling to walk towards what seems to be some chaos, possibly a fire, some burning cars, even some burning people. Maybe those are the cleaners down there wreaking some havoc under the Brooklyn Bridge, and it looks like we've got a lone gunman here from the Division making his way to perhaps prevent or at least exact revenge on the cleaners or whoever may be causing a bit of chaos down there. Nonetheless, another stunning piece. Over the past 4 weeks, I've spent a lot of time looking at fan art. A lot of time looking at Division fan art. I don't pick these very quickly. There's a lot of fan art out there, and I really, sit down, I look at the pieces, and I decide, which one has touched me the most emotionally. And I think the month of doing this has made me have a much greater appreciation for art. I've always enjoyed looking at art, especially video game art, because of course it ties into a topic that I care about very much. But I've noticed myself following a lot of game developer artists on Twitter, bookmarking a lot of deviant art, concept artists, and a lot of people on ArtStation, really just falling in love with concept art. Concept art, I think, in general, tends to blow people away, and it's something that it's a consumable form of happiness. And, it's easy to let that kind of concept slip away from you and not realize that you can just look at a piece of artwork and it can bring joy to your heart. It can bring joy to you as a person. It can elevate your emotions in a positive way. It can be an upper for a day that may very much feel like a downer. So please go give a big props to Kritak over on ArtStation. Spread this image wherever you can. Share it with other Division fans. Share it with other art fans, because no doubt that this is a wonderful piece of art. Stoked to hopefully see some more Division stuff from Kritak. This was 7 months ago, so maybe as the Division gets closer to launch, this individual will start putting out some more Division fan art based on some of the locations in the game even. I would love to see that happen. But let's go ahead and roll on back to the discussion data for this week. As I said, we've got a very meaty episode, and I want to start by first talking about my Door Closers parody that I launched over the weekend. It was something that I had a lot of fun making. It was very much a bit of self-therapy, as I said, and I really enjoyed it. I feel bad that some people don't understand it's a parody. There are actually people who believe it is just you know, me being ridiculous or absurd. And I understand how people could misconceive that if they weren't around for the original reveal for The Division. If they haven't been following The Division since day one, they would miss out on the fact that in E3, when the game was originally revealed, one of the characters closed a police car door as they were pushing into an abandoned police station, and everyone lost it. Everyone completely lost it. This was also something that was done in the original Rainbow Six Patriots reveal teaser, I should say, which was not even in engine. Nonetheless, you know, I know people, you know, tend to think it's like a joke, like, oh, you know, that's not cool at all, but really, to me, it's a really great example of the evolution of game design, you know, a recognition that the details can go a long way, and the fact that we could close car doors was a big deal. So I wanted to take that to a parody level and see if I could spit a proper 12-minute commentary surrounding that, which was not as easy as you may have thought. Took me about only 3 tries, actually. I was expecting it to take a lot more, but I had a stupid amount of fun with it, and that's just kind of what life should be about sometimes, is having fun. And I know a few of you guys actually recognize the fact that that was one take, and that's what I was going for. You know, I could have spent a lot of time editing it, I could have had more footage of the doors closing, but to me, the special component of that was being able to stay in character and stay on point regarding the whole concept of the game being a door-closing simulation game rather than an RPG for 12 minutes. And I feel like I did that, and that video is actually done really well, and I hope it continues to do well. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So thank you guys to everyone who enjoyed it. I hope you got a laugh out of it. That's at the end of the day. It's all it was for. It was to put a smile on everyone's face. I seem to do that for quite a few people. And if you didn't understand it then, maybe you understand it now. Go back and give it another watch, and maybe it'll click for you, and maybe it'll put a smile on your face as well. But let's move on with some proper news discussion. So first and foremost, directly from Ubisoft, we've got word that there will actually be some console graphical options. So you're actually going to be able to tweak some of your graphics options on the console versions. Both the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One version are going to feature chromatic aberration and a sharpen image setting, which will provide players with the ability to adjust to improve image quality or frame rate. So you're going to be able to go back and forth on this. Yeah, not something that console games normally do. There's been some instances in the past, I believe the original BioShock allowed you to mess with your frame rate. Some games let you lock the frame rate, so on and so forth. But to actually allow you to modify, you know, in-game sharpness as well as something like chromatic aberration is kind of, you know, special. It's kind of cool. I like the idea that they're giving players the option to do that. I mean, you know, it's definitely a weird idea, the thought of a game, you know, looking at a console and saying, you know, can we give them some of the PC options? Can we allow them to choose between frame rate and overall graphical quality, especially when the game's already at 30 FPS? So I don't know how much of an impact that can make on the frame rate, or if it's a matter of those settings will be set at, you know, the maximum, and then you can decrease them to further improve the frame rate. So let's move on to map size comparisons. Awesomely enough, a fellow YouTuber out there, of which I will have his video linked down in the description below, by the name of Marco, I believe, actually went out and did a little bit of research to put together a graphics comparison of the Division map, the one that's going to be available at launch, the one that's in the beta, essentially, of course, opened up all the way, not the restricted version we got, but basically the map without Brooklyn. So don't count that in. You know, the actual playable map we're going to have day one. And compared it to both Fallout 4 as well as Grand Theft Auto 5. And it turns out that the Division map is actually larger than Fallout 4's map and smaller than Grand Theft Auto 5's, which is fair to say because Grand Theft Auto 5 also features a massive, you know, desert-style country area of the map. It's a ridiculously huge map, and, you know, it just further cements the fact that Rockstar is insane at building large worlds like that. So no surprise that it's not as big as GTA 5, but actually surprised that it's larger than Fallout 4. That says a lot for me. Obviously, Fallout 4's map is very dense and very, you know, compact and loaded with a lot of stuff. But the Division is a city. It's New York City. So pretty happy to hear about the size of the map. Of course, the size of the map, you know, is only one piece of the puzzle to making a great open world game. And a lot of it's going to be about the delivery of the experience to the player when they're inside of said map, when they're inside of said world. Now, from my experience with the beta, the world design is on point. It's a matter of just getting all of the right puzzle pieces in place, getting the right NPC amounts, you know, making sure that there's a lot of variety in the areas that we're visiting, you know, just making sure that it's constantly an enjoyable place to do. And we won't be able to know if that's something that they've been able to pull off until we play the game come March. So that kind of ties directly into a brief discussion I wanted to have about some of my concerns being put to rest. It's funny because last week we talked about the sewer section that I found in the beta, which was completely empty. I mean, no joke, an hour after that video was like done rendering, I put it live. 2 minutes after that, IGN uploaded a video showcasing a higher level 12 mission within that exact sewer system. So it seems that it's very true. A lot of people have heard, you know, there's been rumors going around that a lot of the enemy spawns were disabled for the beta, that areas of the map are simply just not active because whatever reason, the reasons they decided. So that does seem to be the case. There's been a lot of videos being released by IGN, other studios, you know, showcasing gameplay, and a lot of these areas of the map that we saw were empty in the beta. So, you know, that seems to be the case, and hopefully that's the truth, you know, because like I said, I really do want to see a bit more enemy density in the world. I want to see a reason to, you know, go to the sewer and have a random encounter, so on and so forth. So we're going to head on over, and we're going to check out the skill tree builder now. We're going to do this live. I'm going to open this bad boy up, and we're going to make this happen. We're going to dive right into this thing and start to mess around with it a little bit. So as I said, this is 100% made by the fans, by members of the community. We can look down here in the left corner. Myodec, Tri4C, Angier, big thank you guys, everyone who participated in the creation of this tool. It's not finished. You're going to notice that we have skills and talents. We don't have any perks. It's also not technically a calculator yet because we don't have the implementation of like points and the amount of skill, you know, I don't even say this, the amount of skill points we're actually going to be able to use, the amount of points and, you know, currency that's going to be required to unlock the different wings within the different wings. So it's not 100% finished, but it is no doubt a great way to preview all the skills and all the talents, at least right now, that are available in the game. You'll also notice that there isn't all of the attribute data available for the skills, but nonetheless, like, the skills themselves are here. The mods are here, the mastery levels are here. There's a lot of stuff here for a game that isn't out yet. You know, this isn't really like a game that's, you know, been in this advanced beta like a lot of RPGs and MMOs are, and they revealed all the skills and talents to us. No, this is a game that has released very little information about this stuff. They've locked a lot of it out of the beta. These guys have scraped up, gathered what they could, and created an awesome little tool for us to get a good idea of what type of character we might want to build that's going to fit our playstyle, or at least a playstyle we want to emulate when the Division goes live. So big kudos to them. We're going to take a look at this briefly. I'm not going to sit here and read everything. If you guys want to check it out for yourself, it will, of course, be linked in the description below, and I strongly advise you give it a go because it's nice to have that advantage. When you go into a game like this, you know, maybe talk with the other members of your fire team who you plan on playing with come March 8th. Send them, you know, send the link to them. Say, hey, let's just get a rough idea for what we want to do, guys. That way, day one, if somebody's playing during the midnight release, somebody's at work, they're not playing till they get home, you know, you guys can make sure you have characters that possibly benefit when playing alongside one another. You know, you want to have that sort of trade-off. To some people, that's important. Some of you guys might not care if everyone plays a healer. You know, who it really might not matter to you. But if it does, this is a great place to get a look at all of the available talents and skills as of so far. So to kick things off, you know, we've got the three trees here. Obviously, these all go hand in hand with the different wings that you'll be unlocking inside of your base of operations. In order to further unlock each of these skills, you'll need to unlock different portions of those wings. So in this case, we need the virus lab. If we look at the seeker mine, we need communications. And if we look at mobile cover, we need the armory. So this, you know, upgrading your base of operations is also part of the progression of your skill tree. You'll also notice that each of these skill trees are a rough representation of the Holy Trinity, as you would call it: the healer, the DPS, as well as the tank. You have your medical for healing, your tech for DPS, and your security for tanking. It's all, as I said, a vague representation because at the end of the day, everyone can do damage very effectively. There are no doubt there are going to be bonuses to damage from playing the tech character, bonuses to healing from playing the medical character, and bonuses to absorbing damage from playing the security character. Also, at the bottom of each of these charts, we have a signature ability. In the case of the medic, it is Recovery Link. Heals and cures the users and nearby allies. Revives down allies within range. Can overheal beyond maximum health. So a bit of over boosted health potential for those really hardcore situations. Tech has the Tactical Link. Increases damage and critical hit chance to the user and all nearby allies. While Security has the Survivor Link. Increased damage resistance and speed for the user and nearby allies. You can also get a look at some of the other sort of gadgets you're going to have here. Of course, these gadgets are only going to be 2 at a time. So you have 2 gadget slots essentially from your skill tree. You can only have 2 of them. You can mix and match as we saw in the beta, and of course the full game is really gonna reveal to us just in what order we have the option to unlock stuff from the medical tree, stuff from the check tree, stuff from the security tree. You know, is it something that happens in order? Can we go at our own pace? Can we do security first if we want to? Can we do medical first if we want to? We really don't know. None of that was shown to us in the beta, so we'll have to see how the full game goes. I would hope that there's some element of choice, but we'll have to see. So you got like the Seeker Mine, which we've seen in so many of the early Division gameplay footage. We've got, you can see all the mods for it here. So we've got Airburst. Upon impact, the mine is launched in the air and releases a cluster of small incendiary explosives. Gas Charge. This mine seeks out and moves between multiple targets, releasing a cloud of disorientated gas on impact. Cluster. Mines separate into smaller pieces that seek out multiple targets simultaneously. And then we've got the Master Rank for it. Seeking Betty. Mine can bounce onto and over low covers and can move directly toward this target. So possibly hopping over a Jersey barrier to take out a cleaner with a flamethrower that's been making some of your buddies extra toasty. You notice that it does seem we can select a modification plus the master ability. So you can have, you know, one of each going on here. You can't have multiple modifications, but you can have your master plus your modification. Now, if we take a look at some of the talents, let's hop over to the security wing here and look at some of these higher on the skill tree talents. One is None, security tree upgrade, canine units. Headshot at hostile to have a 50% chance of not consuming the bullet. Not consuming a bullet. So basically, if you headshot somebody, there's a 50% chance that you won't actually lose the round out of your thing. So, cool. Bullet consumption affects hostiles, as you can see. Killing a hostile with a sidearm to receive 1 magazine for your primary weapon. So, you know, this is going to be an extremely beneficial talent because the riot shield just goes hand in hand with security. So you're using your primary weapon a lot. You realize you're getting low on ammo. All right, let's do a little bit of tanking here. Pull out the riot shield, switch to the pistol, and we're also going to be able to receive some ammunition back to our primary weapon. Love the idea of that. Headshot a hostile to pulse them for 10 seconds. Kill hostile while moving to reduce incoming damage by 30% for 10 seconds. Like, you can get an idea of this. Look at the tech tree a little bit. Kill a hostile with any skill for a 25% chance of auto-refilling all animal types to capacity. So there's actually a lot of diversity within these talents, despite them being under a specific skill tree. So, you know, we can even see a boost to damage resistance for the medical. You know, despite that being more of a tanky style thing, but it ties in with using a med kit, so on and so forth. There's a lot of diversity in the skills and talents here, and I know that I am really looking forward to building a character all crafted and specifically to my playstyle and my liking, as I imagine a lot of you guys are. This is the part of the Division we really didn't get to experience in the beta. It was something that was very hidden from us, but something that I'm very much looking forward to. There's actually a lot of people on the subreddit I saw talking just the other day about being excited about extended time to kill, and that makes me happy for 2 reasons. Number one, a lot of people have understood what the Division is about. They understand it's an RPG. It has a long time to kill. That's just the game they're aiming to create. So the people who weren't into that have kind of left. You know, they said, okay, this isn't the game for me. That's good. You know, you don't need to hang around. It's okay. It's not a bad thing you don't like the game. That's just like, you know, why chill there if it's not something you're interested in? So there's a large amount of people who understand this is going to be the Division. This is what it's about. And they understand the benefits that sort of a system can have. And a lot of it comes from those same great firefight moments that we see in games like Destiny. You know, extended firefights, when you have all of these different skills and talents and you have different members of your fire team working together, is where a lot of those really great firefight moments come into play, man. You know, hunting down and trying to kill that elite cleaner with his flamethrower with all of his goonies in a 15-minute firefight while, you know, your guy from security is doing what he can to reduce damage. You've got your, you know, your medical dude throwing out heals and rezzing people. You've got your tech guy just doing general harassment with the seeker mines and his turrets. Like, those are going to be the great moments in the Division. That is where the combat is going to come to life. It's going to be, in my opinion, a completely different experience from what we saw in the beta. And that, I think, is where the Division is really going to reveal its true self as an RPG. And I'm very much looking forward to that. I'm very much hoping that is the case. We have these awesome lengthy combat sequences, these firefights that really call on every single member of your fire team to utilize their abilities, their talents, and their perks to the best of their knowledge, the best of their know-how. That's going to be the Division. That, I think, is going to be the Division. That's what's going to make it such a great cooperative experience. So guys, if you want to go ahead and mess around with this skill tree calculator yourself, as I said, it will be linked down in the description below, along with all of the other stuff, all of the resources that we used in this week's discussion. If you like the show, if you like the Division Weekly, do me a favor, go ahead and share it with some other Division fans in your life. Get the word out there. As I said, this is a show that I plan on continuing well into the future, well past the launch of the Division. Got a lot of awesome community stuff planned, talking about sharing character builds, you guys being able to submit your own character builds to be highlighted on the show. It's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to continuing the Division Weekly. It's something that I've developed a bit of a passion for, and I really look forward to producing these episodes every single week. If you guys have any other questions or thoughts for me, as always, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next one.